Hi everyone, welcome to QBO Tips. One of the big advantages that QuickBooks Online has over the desktop version is the banking center. It's featured a lot more prominently in QBO, it's more user-friendly, and above all else, it has a much better direct integration with banks and credit card companies. One of the ways that you can really supercharge your use of these bank feeds is to create rules. And that's what we're going to go through today. Okay, there are two ways to create rules in QuickBooks Online. I'll touch on the newest way to do it first and then circle back to the old way. So if you have two transactions with largely the same bank detail, it'll prompt you to make a rule. Let's look at a rental here. We can see that the detail A1 rental and then the other one A1 rental, they're pretty similar. So if I take A1 rental and I put that one in, and now on the second one, when I add this one in, it should prompt me to make a rule because I did the same categorization for both of them and the bank detail is largely the same. So here's my pop-up where it's prompting me to make a rule. Something to be aware of is that there are currently two different beta versions of this out there being tested. One, like I have here, it suggests that I make a rule. I can tell it not now if I want, or I can get started. Get started would take me to the rules screen where I can fill out all the details that I want in my rule. The second beta test out there will just create the rule for you. And if you want to edit anything on that, you have to go back and edit it later. That's the new way. So, what about the old way? Well, the old way, first you start by identifying which transactions you want to make a rule for. For ease's sake, I'm just going to take Mahoney Mugs here. Alright, now you click in to get some of the details here, and I'm just going to highlight and copy the bank detail down here. A lot of times the bank detail will also show in the memo, but I'll just copy it because I'm a copy and paster. I like to save some keystrokes. And then I would scroll up to the top here and I would click on Rules. So go to the Rules tab in the Bank Center. And then over here I can click on a new rule to create a new rule. And here's where I get to define my rule. So I can give it a rule name. I'm a copy and a paster for a reason. I can choose whether it's for money going in or coming out of the account. And I can choose to limit it to one bank or credit card account or just let it apply to all. Then you can set the conditions. So there's multiple conditions you can use. So you can set up multiple things. It says this in the bank detail and it's this amount. It says this in the bank detail and it also includes this in the bank detail. Whatever you need to have an accurate rule. You can also add more lines obviously here. And you can have it do any or all of whatever conditions that you've set. I'm doing a fairly easy one, so I'm just going to, again, paste Mahoney's Mugs, copier and a paster here. And then you go down and you can set your transaction details. So this is what's going to go into the transaction that it creates in QuickBooks. Most of the time you can just leave it as an expense, but you can also do check or transfer types. My payee is going to be Mahoney Mugs because it's easy. And I'm going to say this is probably advertising. I'm probably getting a branded mug or something like that. I don't really think I'm going to be stocking the office with mugs. But if I am, if it's something like that, I can always split this. So I can split by percentage or amount. So if you have something where it's a 50-50 split between, I want to say it's supplies and advertising, I can do that split by either percentage or amount. So if I did like amount, I could say it's 10 bucks goes to advertising and the remainder goes to this other account. So a lot of options available there to kind of customize your rule to get it where it needs to go. Now the last thing, we have to move myself here quick, is down here, how would you like to apply this rule? It defaults to have you review the rule being applied before it gets accepted into QuickBooks. The other option is to auto add, so you'll never see it. It'll apply the rule and put it into your books. You'll never be the wiser until you look at your books and you see the accounts filled out. I would reserve the auto add for things that are really specific and unique. Things like savings account interest, bank fees, or any transaction for a vendor where you only use one account. You don't want to get into a situation where it's usually advertising, but this time it's not advertising and you have to go back and find it. If you just review it before you put it in right away, you'll end up saving yourself some time in the end. So I would leave it at manually review for most instances. Once I'm done with my rule, I save it. I can go back out to my banking feed, and we can see that I have Mahoney's mugs. It's 2 Mahoney's here under the payee. My rule is applied to put to advertising, and I can add it to my books. I hope that helps you guys. Thanks for watching.